So class identity is very important, but you also need to fit that with the role that you want to play as a player. We're gonna do a video about pick the right class for you. For new and returning players, not for veterans. Veterans, you probably know how to shop. You know how the fights go. You know the player you are. Picking a main, for some, is the easiest. It clicks. They see a paladin, they're like, that's me, dude. And they stick with that character for life. For some people, like me, it is the hardest thing in Lost Ark. Picking a main, even to this day, costs me more time and money than anything else. Anything else. I have bought thousands of skins, literally. And that doesn't even come close to picking a main. So, that is why I make this video. Because I know, personally, I've spent more money than anybody else that's covering this game changing mains. So I'm here to help you as quick as I can. Let's just go by the slide. Choose an option. Are you planning to only do solo mode? Then play whatever that fits you, that screams you. Pally, I like being a holy crusader, blah, blah, blah. That's me. Pick it. You can read Nexus max roll guides to see if the class description fit you the best. Max roll as well as Nexus guides. All right. They're pretty good. I recommend them. If it wasn't that good, I wouldn't recommend them, right? So I do give credit where due that there is a nice resource where Western players don't have to go read some foreign language to understand their class. So we have a nice write-up over there. So I highly recommend that. It'll be in the video description. Also, if you want to do a little bit more for yourself, because picking a main is very important, I would recommend you guys watch streams or videos of people that play the class and watch the gameplay. But let me tell you something. My favorite streamer, when I started Lost Ark back up 3 years ago, was a bald man. His name was Nodoli. He was a Reaper main and he switched to War Dancer. He made War Dancer look fun. Well, obviously, he's an entertaining streamer. That's what a streamer does. When I saw him play War Dancer, I was like, dude, that's me. I want to be like War Dancer. And I spent tens of thousands of dollars on my War Dancer. And now, it's not my main. TLDR, long story short. So just because it looks fun doesn't mean it's fun. When Shroud plays Apex, it looks fun. When I play Apex, I'm 0 and 40. Okay? I uninstall the game. So it's always the best you try for yourself, but in this game, there are 26 classes. It is very hard to pick a main, and I get it. So I'm gonna help you as best as I can, because you can't really jack 26 characters in this game. Shop properly, TLDR, by using all those different mediums. That's what I'm trying to say, mediums. So let's say you are a person that starts the game, right? And you like the game, you're getting hooked, and you're thinking about venturing beyond the single player, the solo mode content. You want to do multiplayer content, aka you want to do endgame. It's still very important you pick what you think is your style, visually, audially, right? Read about the class once again. You don't skip these steps. Okay, watch some streams and videos. So after doing that, think about picking a role. So let's say you have a class in mind, but does that class fit your role, right? So what is a role? Every Lost Ark player in this MMO have a different role. We'll talk about that. But before we do that, let's talk about the disclaimers. This is just my opinion, okay? If you think I'm wrong, you are right. I am wrong. It is your main, not my main. Number 2, this is not a tier list. Why? Because tier 4 is coming. Tier 4, if you're new, you might be like, what the hell does that mean? So it's like a soft reset. The game is going through like not like a reboot, but it's going through changes, major changes, because the game is 5 years old and it needs to clean the house a little bit, right? So thanks for the sub, thanks for resub. So it's not a tier list because we don't really know what the meta is going to be, and it's not really important the numbers per se. What is more important is how well that class is aging in the current meta if you plan on doing the multiplayer endgame content. How is it designed? Is it designed with the feedback of the weaknesses of other classes? Or is it just clunky design? All right, number 5. If you have any questions, please drop by my chat. and refer to this video. Hey, I watched this video. I still want to know more about this class. Could you tell me more? Either I or my chat will help you guys. Okay, so because of what I said in the disclaimers, for example, the meta, like in terms of numbers, we don't know for certain what's going to happen in the future because this game is, you know, pretty much going through a phase right now. So because we don't know what's about to happen, I'm gonna pretty much base a lot of this on what we know for certain, which are numbers. What numbers? Population numbers. So I will follow my principal guideline based off the population in Korea. So population plus, not just population, but influx of population is extremely important in Lost Ark. Popular can indicate higher return if people are playing this class in the droves. Something about it must be fun. But the definition of fun is very different. For example, Gunslingers. You may be thinking, Gunslingers fun? You remember when Lost Ark launched in the West? People were like, dude, Gunslinger gameplay is so fun. Shuffling guns, lots of skills suppressed. That could be a factor of fun. Another factor is her voice is good. Another is she has the second biggest titties in Lost Ark. She's very pretty. That's why Gunslinger is popular. This chart is taken from July 6, 1630 plus in Korea. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. There's a reason why Stork is up here. There's a reason why Gunslingers are up here. There's a reason why Blade is the most popular 1630 plus character in Korea. There's a reason why War Dancer is here. There's a reason why Deadeye's here. Numbers don't lie. I know there are exceptions. There are outliers. People are like, oh, I have fun with Deadeye. But in general, if we ask 1,000 people or 10,000 people, more people will gravitate towards the popular classes. Let's look at, for example, max eye level in Korea to 1620. Oh, little Doge. Okay, 1620. So 1620, we have Bard, Artist, Breaker, Blade, right? At 1620, Breaker, surprisingly, the newest class in Lost Ark, the newest class is #1 damage dealer. Think about that. This chart is 1630. This is 1630, the start of endgame and right now, as of this recording. But at 1620, Breaker is here, right? But Gunslinger's still up here, Airmaster's up here, right? And at 1620, we see these guys are at the bottom as well, okay? Now, if I change the data to 1640, okay, it changes again. Now, Blade is #1. Gunslinger's #2. Gunlancer, wow, Zeals, why Gunlancer #3? We'll talk about that. That's what this video is about. Why Deadeye still dead last? All right, there's a reason. And why are we looking at Korean data? Because the game is balanced around Korea, right? Unfortunately, it's not. I didn't make the rules, man. I didn't make the rules, man. Okay, why don't they base it off Russia? I don't know. It's not my game. Role #1. So remember, I said in order to pick a main, you need to know your role, right? Why does my voice keep cracking? Okay, so role #1. I am the meta goblin. Okay, meta once again doesn't mean numbers here. Numbers can change, right? But some classes seem to always stay at the top. Why is that? Because some classes, some builds, some specs have such a low floor that the low floor dwellers are helping the high ceiling. Low floor, high ceiling. Low floor, high ceiling. Okay, let me show you an example. Look at Surge Blade. There are bad Surge Blades, and there are some good Surge Blades. So there are some classes where if you're really bad, it doesn't matter if you play an OP class. Numerically OP class. There is not only high population, but influx of population. Meaning more and more newbies are coming to Blade. Because I heard Blade's OP, right? So they flock there. Even though they don't know their role. They don't know their role, which we're going to talk about. What is my role? People don't know. They just like, oh, strong, 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 strong. So I go play Blade. And they become the floor. They make the floor lower, right? And then the people at the top are like, oh, thank you for lowering the floor so that we're not going to get nerfed. They still nerf you, right? But the way Lost Ark balance works is on the average. They do go by average, but doesn't mean the top is protected. They're not immune. I'd have to explain that. All right, so let's go here. Role #1, Meta Goblin. Are you the type of player that is a rank 1 player in whatever game you play, all right, in your RuneScape, whatever? You're a challenger in League of Legends. If you're one of those competitive player, you should probably play League of Legends, by the way, but I don't know why you came to Lost Ark. But yeah, you're one of those I must chase meta at all costs, Andy. I don't care if there is gauge. I don't care what I need to do. I will back attack. I will do whatever it needs. I don't care if it has 40 skills. I don't care if it has 4 skills. I just want to be good. I just want to be MVP. You'll get punished for not managing your burst mode, gauge, or stacks, or cards correctly. So it has a low floor, okay? Like I just showed you guys. Just look at this data. Look at surge, look at the floor. Look at the ceiling. That's all you need to know. Everything else, I don't want to really dissect it. It's going to be way too long, okay? So if you manage everything correctly that your class comes with, then it has a really high ceiling potential. I'll do whatever it takes. Then I recommend these classes. Asura Breaker, Surge Blade, Igniter Sork, Full Moon, Soul Eater, okay? And then Arcana, kind of. Now, also, I put Bard, Paladin, and Artist. There are so many people with these old bad takes that support is easy. Support has, in my opinion, the highest skill cap, and it is the most respected role in Lost Ark. In the direction the game is headed, the support just becomes way too important. People in the West run Bible. They'll see your brand uptime being 20%, and they'll hit the fucking end raid button. I asked Chad earlier, would you rather have a bad DPS that still does the mechanics, but they don't really do good damage? They don't really greed or know the rotation, but they're not wiping the raid. Would you rather have that person? Or would you rather have a support that has low buff uptime, low shield uptime, low gauge generation? Like, which would you rather have? Which would you rather have? And chat said they would rather have a DPS that is not doing that much damage. I can't play my class with bad support because of mana issues. Mana issues, some people don't turn on Yurting for 12 seconds. I've seen that happen. The direction the game is going, it feels like support is getting more and more important and more powerful to not only that party, but the entire raid. Like, I could be on my weakest character and my static, my guildies are helping me, and I could really die. I could just go make coffee, doesn't matter. They could clear without me. But if a support dies or falls off the map, it's usually they got to do it again. They got to start over. I'd rather have bad DPS. They can kneel over and die and nobody cares as long as you can still clear. Yeah. Anyways, so the thing about support is they must maintain high gauge generation for buff uptime, must have high awareness of raid, right? They need to know all the boss patterns because they have to hit the boss to generate gauge, okay? And then they have to also know what part of the fight the boss is gonna dish out a lot of damage for things like Rhapsody, like damage reduce, as well as CC immunity, as well as when to shield, when to awaken, the big shield, when to heal. People think support is easy in the end game. No. Yeah, supports, really good ones, are the best players in the game, 100%. Yep, and you have, if you are a good support, dude, you will get into any good static. You'll get into any good static. You'll be well known in the Lost Ark NAU community. You also need to know the cooldowns as well as like the burst modes of other party members because you got to sync up your damage buff with them, right? So you have to generate gauge so that you can match their uptime, okay? So if you're raiding with good players, their uptime is really good. So you have to also match their skill level as a support to make sure that you buff them. And these guys are constantly bursting the boss because they're really good. So you have to have high gauge generation while also having high raid awareness and raid member positions and the cooldowns and all of that stuff, bro. All of that stuff. Support is really good for high skill cap players. Okay, next. Number 2. Role number 2, Meta Goblin, but I have some exceptions. What are those exceptions? Let's talk about that. So I must chase meta, but at a cost. There is a cost. I do care if there is gauge, but want to still be, you know, doing more than Johnny next to me, right? I want to do a little bit more DPS than him. I want the potential to do a little bit more than him, okay? So these classes have pump and dump. Quick gauge, dump the gauge, okay? Gain energy, dump it. Gain orbs, dump it, all right? So faster gauge generation means faster tempo. So I recommend Brawler King Breaker, Remaining Energy Blade. I don't like using these short terms, but okay, so Remaining Energy Blade. And then Knight's Edge Soul Eater. Knight's Edge Soul Eater, right? Like, I'm not saying that Full Moon Soul Eater is stronger numerically, right? You could also be strong without wanting this gameplay, is what I'm saying. It could be a strong breaker, but you don't like the Asura path? You don't have to choose Asura path. You could still be a strong breaker. You could play Brawler. You could still play... You don't want to build 60 stacks? You'd rather just build 3 orbs as remaining energy and pump and dump, pump and dump? There is remaining energy blade, just as strong. You don't like building Gauge as Full Moon Soul Eater? Right? Then you could choose the Knight's Edge variant. So there are options. Lunar Reaper, Build Gauge, Stealth, Pump, Shock Scrapper, Master Summoner, Pinnacle Glavier, ESO Striker, and Barrage Artillerist with an asterisk. I do think Barrage Artillerist is still a good class to recommend to new players that like to chase the meta. Not just numbers, once again. How is it aging in the end game? I interviewed some max eye-level Barrage Artillerists. They say they feel more safe while they're turreted up. They're sieged up. Is this wrong? Is this a bad take by these artillerists that I talked to? What do you guys think? It's correct? So I think people have this wrong perception that don't play artillerists, that Barrage Artillerists, while they're turreted up, that they're gonna die, right? But the thing is, they feel more safe while turreted up. You have DR and shield. Yeah. And then now you can like also move now in tier 4 with it, right? So I do recommend it, okay? And they perform really well in the meta. They perform well numerically as well, okay? They have the tools. These guys all have the tools to perform well in the raid settings of today. Next, role number 3. I feel good when I buff others, plus I want to do my part. So these kind of classes have higher chance of getting invited. Higher chance of getting it. This is me? Okay. It was also me. It was also me before I got drunk with power chasing. The ring of power, right? The Sauron ring. I was also like, dude, I like War Dancer because I could provide synergy to my party members. But then once I got drunk by power, right? Then I started to do other things. But yeah, like I used to love War Dancer, being able to like help my teammates out. Like I see some team members that are spec heavy, they don't have a lot of movement skills, so they're slow, and I could give them Wind Whisper to make them move faster. They're like, oh man, Zeals, having you in my party, man, it was so much better doing progression with you. I was like, whoa, that felt good. So if you're that type, guys, if you're that role, then I recommend ESO War Dancer. ESO War Dancer is easier than First Intent. Don't argue with me on this, chat. Don't even start, dog. Don't even start, dog. Don't start with me. Okay, next. Wind Fury, Airmancer, as well as Gunlancer. Gunlancer is popular. Gunlancer is popular because they do their part, but they also feel so appreciated. They feel so appreciated. I love Gunlancers. I would suck their dick. Is that gonna be censored by YouTube? But I love Gunlancers, especially like you don't even have to be that good. Like, I would just take mediocre Gunlancers and I'm like, thank you, senpai. Senpai, sorry. Chat, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Do you like Gunlancers? Do you like having Gunlancers? Now, at the beginning of the Western launch, you guys are like, oh, why would I bring Gunlancer to Fulton? And then nowadays, it's changed, right? Look at that. See, chat likes it now. Back in the day, it'd be like, why would I bring Gunlancer? I would just bring another DPS. Now, people are loving Gunlancer. See that? Gunlancer appreciation has gone up. Thank God. They've tasted the red pill. So some of these classes, I didn't mention this, but some of these classes can be like, just because they're here, like SO War Dancer is here, doesn't mean it doesn't belong here as well. Like you could put SO War Dancer here, you could put First Intent War Dancer here as well, okay? So some of these can be mixed, right? Just because they're like in different slides, don't mean they can't coexist. Next. Role number 4, fast tempo and freedom to zoom, man. I want to play classes without many shackles. I don't want to be tied down by gauge generation, whether it's fast gauge or slow gauge, pump and dump, or it's like build gauge, burst, build gauge, burst. Like I just want to be free, dude. So I could focus more on the fight. I don't want to focus too much on my character. I want to focus on the fight. I'm learning the raid. I want to master this raid before I maybe do later on choose to do the pump and dump or build gauge, dump. Build gauge, dump. Like before I do that, Zeals, I want to learn everything about the raid while focusing as little as possible on my main, my class that I'm raiding with. So are you the type that just want to focus on me, myself, and the raid surroundings without managing cards, stacks, gauge? Well, not that much at least. Other BS stuff. Prefer cycle dealer or priority dealer without too many strings attached. Recommending here Taijutsu Scrapper, Hunger Reaper. If you like, Taijutsu Scrapper is like Hunger Reaper. They're very, very close. But Taijutsu is a little bit more sturdier. Reaper has more escapes. And Gunslinger, yes, I do recommend Gunslinger. Reflex Orc, First Intent War Dancer. Number 5, role number 5, I'm Coomer. I need tits. Lost Ark tits were good. They were good, past tense. But they got power crept by all the Chinese mobile games. Popular classes are populated because they have a draw, like Blade, having multiple playstyles, having good synergy, as well as a higher, the promise of a higher ceiling. Like, I'm not good yet. I might be a bad Blade right now, but if I really try hard, if I really watch guides and I practice, I put in the time, I could be one of those great Blades. I could just smash everybody. You can see the log share size when like those role classes are legit the ones with the highest performance. It's legit 1-to-1. Oh, thank you for, okay, so thank you for saying that these are the top performing classes right now in the current. I don't really want to say it's also important because of the way the class is designed. Like the reason why Surge is so good numerically is because of the design. The reason I like Surge Blade is like it respects the fast tempo and the freedom of Zoom Zoom. But I also have this as a Surge Blade. I also buff others as Surge Blade. Not that I care, because I'm gonna still try to do the most damage. But it also has a pump and dump because the rotation is so fast. 7 to 8 seconds to get a surge off. So the reload time is fast compared to like Punisher Slayer. The thing about Punisher Slayer is you stay in that burst mode for 15 brutal seconds. You're forced in, you're locked. So the thing about Surge Blade is it's got all of these things. That's why it's very popular. Gunlasser, what's the draw? It's a Giga Chat, girthy, tanky, sword and board. Sword and board that also can dish out pretty good damage. Also really helps the party members. And it really shows. Sork, powerful. Igniter build, right? For those meta chasers, the number of meta chasers. But it's very uncomfortable, Zeals. For those that want to play the comfortable version, she has the alternate version of herself, Reflux. And Reflux is very competitive as well, right? She has the piano where you could button smash as well as think and smash. Think and smash. That Meiji archetype, the principal mage archetype. We talked about this the other day, why Air Masters are so popular. Even though she's never like numerically the top of the meta, never once, then why is she so popular? Because that's not what she's about. What is her role? Her role is I want to have fun while helping other people have fun. They're also cute. Visual stuff matters. And her action, her skill, animations are good looking, right? Those matter to people. That is part of fun. And she's mobile and all of that stuff. The community is also a bunch of IAS. They're all fucking cute. So that's why, like, you know, there's a reason why there is a population. If I did a main Gunlaster since day one, I would have been an Airmaster main. Yeah, so like, you know your role. A person that not only does their part, but also enhance others. And you enjoy that. That is your definition of fun. Yeah, people need to know what their definition of fun is. Yes, class identity is cool and all. Like Pally wielding a holy sword and like yellow blessed holy jizz everywhere. That's important too. But then what is my role? Like, I'm gonna go slash people with my sword and be the most damage? No. See, the Pally is a supporter in this game, right? So class identity is very important, but you also need to fit that with the role that you want to play as a player. Now, I'm not saying that you have to only pick one role. Like, for example, let's say you pick Gunmaster to achieve this role, but then on Thursdays, I want to play the Meta Goblin. But on Fridays, I want to play the mindless, fast tempo Zoom Zoom. Some classes will just not be popular. It just won't click. as a whole. Surge, 1 gem class, not really that hard to play unless you're not that type of person who wants something challenging. This says otherwise. This says otherwise. You could be like, Surge Blade's not hard. And you're right. This game is not that hard if you're good. You could be fucking Faker, but Faker can still be here. Do you know why? Because you don't fucking crit. If you don't crit, you one of these. You crit good, you here. Okay? Let's not act like there are these factors that don't exist. Skill is important, so is RNG. Why do we leave RNG out of the discussion here? Surge Blades don't have crit protection like Asura does. Why are we leaving out RNG? You could skill all you want, but you could have bad RNG. RNG influence every class outcome, but some classes RNG influence more. For example, like I said, Surge Blade, they don't have crit protection on their Surge, which is bulk of the damage. One pull, Arcana can do 30 mil DPS, another pull 50 only because of cards. Holy Toledo. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not for some people, guys. For some people, that will make them go insane. I'm telling you guys, some people, that will make them fall out of love with their class, right? Some people, like, they just want this. They want protection. High floor, lower ceiling. I want to just hover here. This is my happy place. It's my happy place. Oh, I don't want to play a class where if I don't crit, I'm down here. But if I crit, I'm up here. Some people do like this. Like me, right? I'm kind of sick, right? I do get the dopamine hit. Oh my God, if I surge and it crits and it's like 1.3 billion, I get the dopamine. If I surge, it doesn't crit, I want to uninstall the game. Some people like this. Some people, they started Lost Ark here as a Coomer, or because they heard about titties, or they started here. Ooh, Gunslinger, many buttons. Very fun, lot of buttons. But then they evolve as a player to here, as they become veterans.